Hello everybody and welcome back to the Spellcorp Industrial Complex. We are here at our dump where last time we got a garbage route set up and running where our garbage truck goes out every couple of days and then it brings the garbage back and it starts to sort through it, and now we have some final things to do around the area. I got a couple projects I want to start cleaning up today, a couple things I want to finish. So I'm hoping we can get through it, okay? And I also have to get out of this garbage truck, which I seem to be stuck inside. This isn't... Oh, hello? There's a bee stuck in here as well. Oh, and we're through. Great. Right, so last time we got our garbage truck moving. We got this little sorter here that pulls the garbage stuff out, dumps it out. We got 2% in our big bin right now, and then we got this manual sorter, which can easily be upgraded with some filters from Create. Easy, easy. And then this blue bin is going to get taken away to the recycler. The rest of the stuff is thrown into the dump for now, but we don't want it to end up here. I want it to end up in this big pile over there. So that's going to be our first project today, the first thing that we're going to have to fix up. And we have to kind of figure out how we're going to get the garbage from here to there. And I don't really know the best way to do that that's going to be lag friendly. So I'm thinking we may just have to go underground with some pipes. You're going to have to bear with me today if I stumble over my words, if I don't know what I'm doing, or if I lose focus or lose track of anything, because I am very tired. I'm very, very tired. I haven't slept very well the last couple of days. It's been a rough go of things for that, so I'm sleepy. I'm a sleepy little boy. And alongside that, I've been up since like 5 a.m. today because I had a really early dentist appointment, and it was a really long dentist appointment, and they took all my teeth and they broke them, and then they told me I had to pay thousands of dollars to get my teeth back. So I did that because I'm rich. I'm a big rich CEO of the company, and they gave me all my nice teeth, and it was just a long dentist appointment. What am I looking for? I am out of some of these basic control circuits, which we're going to need if we want to get more items moving. Okay, we got a bunch more of these control circuits now, and I have plenty of cables, and maybe we should upgrade these to make them the faster ones if we have the necessary resources. Yeah, we can make a few. Sweet. Okay, let's get items flowing here. So all that I have to do is I have to go under this big pile into the trash, and I have to make an item vault somewhere. And I think we should probably just go kind of below the ground level with it just to fill it up. So how tall is this? It's like 4 tall, 3 tall, 1, 2, 3. So we'll go like 4 blocks down and then build. Oh, okay. Wait, that makes it way easier. There's all the room under here. Fantastic. So the way I want to do this is we're going to build an item vault kind of centered on this hole. Make it the max size item vault, which I think is 3 by 3 by 9. Like that. I think that. Is that as big as it goes? Is this as big as it goes? 7 by 3 by 3? Thought it went bigger. Google's telling me that a 3 by 3 tall vault can be 9 blocks long. Why isn't it working then? Oh, that's 8. Did I just have... Okay, it can be 9. I just screwed up somewhere. With that, I want to have an input somewhere on the top here. I think we're going to have just a couple chutes because I want to be able to dump garbage in myself if I so decide to. So we'll have like this, and then we're going to throw these framed floorboards on top and a whole bunch of garbage back on top of it. Now I can throw stuff in from here. And that's awesome. There's a huge storage vault underneath, but there's a unique little thing that I kind of want to do to this. The way that's going to work is I want a couple different inventories in this trash pile so that the garbage dump puts them into kind of actual piles that we can find stuff in. So if I do lose things in here, I have to go through the piles and try to find it. So like there are different inventory blocks we might be able to use, like, oh, like this. Look at, we can put stuff in the cooking oven and it just ends up in the oven. So maybe we connect some pipes up to this. Maybe we connect those fridges up. I just want to run a bunch of random lines to the inventory. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook it up to that little one over there. So we have this intermediary little item vault that the garbage gets sorted into the dump, and we're just going to run it underground. We're going to run a line and have it hook up that way to our bigger garbage pit. And with that, that should be all we need, and then we can set it to output, and it should start pulling stuff into our big item vault now. So we want to change to pull, and that's pulling everything over. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, now we have to scatter some random inventories around and things. There's a lot of really good kind of funky looking barrels I think we could use. A fish barrel, a fruit barrel, gold barrel, bunch of stuff like that, mushroom barrel. All those barrels look pretty good. They look quite miscellaneous. There's also a framed chest that we can use to hide things even more, that we can use for another inventory, and that'll look good. So I have to go craft up a bunch of that junk, and we can get to placing it here too. And I think these fridges will work too. I think I can connect stuff up to them. I don't know if Mechanism has a way to kind of hide this, but I don't like that the blocks that are smaller than a full block, you can see the pipe underneath. I don't love that. It's not great. We could maybe hide it using some more of these framed floorboards if we just place them around the edges. That hides it a little better, but I don't really like having to do that. So if you know of a way to hide the Mechanism cables, if they have kind of like facades or something I can put over it, like a lot of the Applied Energistics cables and things do, let me know, because I don't know if there's a way to do that. If I set this pipe here to pull as well, it should start pulling some garbage out and spreading it across a few inventories at least. I have 3 in this little area right here. So there's this barrel, there's a fridge, there's another fridge. We'll see kind of where the things end up. Maybe we hook up this fridge too, if I can. I don't know. Where is it gonna go? It's going in this one first. Nice. Look at all that random stuff. That's awesome. Nice. Okay, now there's a bunch of random barrels and things and inventories scattered around, all hooked up to this so that garbage can just kind of pump into the different stuff around here, and it's gonna make it way harder to find things if I lose them in the dump. So love it. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, there's just all sorts of cables running in every which way. Yeah, it's gonna keep things interesting around here for sure. With the garbage dump sorted out and functioning, I gotta move on to a different thing for today, which is a very simple little task, but something I've been forgetting to do. Oh, and would you look at that? The sun's coming up, it's an early morning, and our garbage truck's headed out to get some work done today. Isn't that great? What a good worker that pig is. It's beeping correctly. Fantastic. Okay, anyways, what have I been meaning to do? Well, little thing, very small thing. In our little B reactor building, we have our reactor here. We have it hooked up to some power, and that's great and all, and I just have it feeding out of this drawer, and it doesn't eat power very fast, but I do want to do this. I want to just hook up our little uranium processor over there straight up to this so that I never have to think about this, and it's constantly pumping the stuff into it. I've had to come and fill it up a little bit. Well, I haven't had to fill it up. I've had to top it off, but I'm just concerned that one day it's going to run out and I'm going to not realize I'm going to run out of power. So I want to hook this up, and we're just going to use item pipes again under the ground and hook it straight up to here. We will need a bigger reactor eventually, and hopefully a turbine as well, but I don't plan on doing that right now. Our power needs are sufficient. We're making more power than we're using quite significantly. I'm not running out at all, so we'll get this hooked up, and that should keep us going for a while. And look at this. It's still making some uranium for us. Easy peasy. This is going to be another thing off the checklist. And it's going to pull out uranium and send it away to where it needs to go. Fantastic. And now that's fully automatic uranium going into our reactor. Cool. So we can actually probably start using this power more if we want, because I don't really have to worry about it running out. And look at all this cyanite we have that we'll be able to use when we want to start making turbines and upgrading our reactor a bit, right? Because this is all needed for the turbine casings. We have tons of it now. Amazing. Next thing to do. I guess today is kind of just a little housekeeping episode, because I have forgot about a lot of these little things around the area that I've done that I need to fix. And that I've just let get out of hand. So there was that reactor there. The garbage dump became a way bigger project than I would have thought, spanning multiple episodes, but we're basically done with it now. There's only a few small improvements and decorative things I want to do, but those are all going to happen behind the scenes. We'll get the monitoring system set up and things that'll take a bunch of coding for me to do, and that's whatever. But I got to get some of this other stuff done. Next thing I got to do is I got to clean up our parking lot again here. I've left this hole here a while ago. There's just a nether portal sitting in the middle of it. And then also this truck that I conveniently parked here for a thumbnail is just on a little rail in here that's not connected to anything. And I need to get it out of here. So I'm going to set up some rails to get it back to the road, clean this up, and that'll be fixed. And then we can start using our truck again to haul things around the area, which will be nice. And also maybe we get rid of these windmills so that this parking lot's completely empty. So I'm going to clean up this. I think we're on... We are. I was going to say, I think we're on the power network. And we are at the moment. So that is good. We can disconnect this. And it should still be working and pulling power. I hope. We'll see. If we experience any issues, we'll change our reactor around. But we can clean all this up for now anyways. Oh, come on. I'm just trying to lay track here. I'm trying to lay train tracks. And the silverfish are going to bother me. Great. Get out of here. Got work to do. I'm trying to be a busy worker boy. This road doesn't even lead the correct way. It goes all the way in the wrong lane. So I got to hook that up proper too, I guess. And reposition it and move it the correct way. Here we go. We can now drive our truck out of this parking lot and onto the main road and kill villagers along the way. That's fantastic. I'm going to drive it back in and show you something we got set up with it too now. So now we can drive into the parking lot as well. And we're going to go from the other lane here. Comes all the way in and around. We can go up towards the end here. It doesn't quite have everything yet, but we have this spot near the ramp where we can back up. It didn't work. That was supposed to work. Do I have to go this way? Still not working? What? What's happening? We have to be like at the very end of the ramp. What is going on? There is a section where I'm supposed to be able to back up into that spot right there. What the heck? It's still here. Maybe we'll just make it one longer. Too long. We'll make it a little longer just for the second to ease this up. This will be so much better when it's automated and I don't have to drive any vehicles around here because this is a mess. Okay, we get in. I just place gravel somewhere, pull all the way up to the ramp. Okay, and now we turn. There we go. Okay, so it's going to back all the way up to this loading bay here. And I'm realizing a critical oversight. My vehicles are all 3 wide, but these loading bays are 4 wide. So maybe a slight issue, but I guess it means there's room for a person to step in between. So now we can back our truck up. We can load stuff into it. We can unload stuff from it. And then we can hop back in. And because of the way trains work, I can't cut a sharp right very easily. But we can go wide and then get back in our right lane here. And start the loop all over again. Oh, that poor guy. My next task to check off the list is involving our little warehouse here, and it has nothing to do with the day-to-day logistics of the warehouse. No, it has to do with this little hole we left in the floor. You may remember this little hole as leading to our Rubiks Cube room that apparently Endermen have been attacking. That takes us down into this big room here, which I'm going to be honest, I haven't been in a while because I haven't had a reason to come down here for a moment, but we're going to be making use of this again soon. I got some good plans set up for it, and we're going to work on it a little bit later today to add a much-needed upgrade to it. But for now, what we got to cover is this hole. We have to cover up this hole. So I'm going to make something that we can get into it with. And this very forklift is going to be my inspiration. Apparently, I forgot to put buttons on the tires. What I want to do is I want to build this same forklift right here, and I want to make it lift and actually lift the box and lift the crate so that we have a crate covering our hole, and then it's going to lift it up, and then it'll work. It'll be like the hole's open. I think it'll be perfect. But first I have to copy the main skeleton of this thing and find all the parts that I used to do it. And this time we put the buttons on the tires. There we go. That's kind of the frame pretty well. Now we have to make the lifty part, and I have a neat way of doing that. It's gonna look a little different than how we currently have the forklifts, just because I wasn't able to find a way to make it look exact, but I think it looks cool enough, and I'm okay with it. But the one thing that's a little bit different here is we have this lectern instead of the contraption controls that are in there. The contraption controls in these forklifts don't do anything. They do absolutely nothing. But the lectern is going to do something in this one, because we can put a redstone, is it a controller? What is it called? This linked controller, a redstone linked controller. We can put this on the lectern and use it from there like a little control board. So it'll be like we actually have to get in the forklift and use it to raise the forks. It'll be good. It'll be good. The first little thing we'll need for this to function is we're going to need a belt that's going to run in the middle, maybe obstructing the view a little bit of the operator, but this forklift isn't really a real forklift, so that's not going to matter. Now we need the forks that come up and down, and to make sure things are moving properly, we're going to put a rope pulley up there that will let us go up and down and raise and lower it, and should look really good for us. But we also need a way to power this belt before we can make everything move. So we're going to hide a gearbox under there and run some create power under the ground. We're just going to throw a water wheel and hook that up like we usually do. In this spot here, we're going to put a gear shift with a redstone link on it. What's a good signal for a forklift? We're going to use maybe one of these double T supports and a barrel. That's good enough for me. Slap a vertical gearbox there. Okay, and if we take our linked controller and hook up a signal for, what do we want it to be? Maybe space? Maybe we'll do spacebar. If we hook up our signal with that T support and the barrel and we put it in here, we should see this rope pulley go down when we hit space. When we hold space. Okay, we do have to hold it. I think I want a toggle on that. Luckily, it's very easy to add a toggle here. We're going to throw a powered toggle latch right on it and replace our redstone link, and that'll fix it. Now, when we hop in and press space, it'll lower right down. We maybe want to make it a little faster, but I can add some gears or a rotation speed controller down there and change that after. But as long as we run this with space. Also, it says left shift to dismount, but that doesn't work. Oh, you right click. I see. The left shift was when I was in the seat. Anyways, look at that. It lifts it up. Okay, fantastic. Now we're ready for the forks on this thing. Gonna build up our little frame around the edges there. So we have that kind of big pull-up bar looking thing. Now let's pretend we want it to lift up to this height here and have this be the maximum height of 2 blocks. We need our rope pulley to connect then to this one and have another block in between so that it only ever goes up this high. So we need to throw something in the way. How does a metal girder look? Our favorite block. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Now when we lower it, it should only ever go that low. Let's see here. Let's toggle it. It's broken. It doesn't work. I think it's because these have to be glued, right? Those have to be glued, and now it'll lower? Oh yeah, look at that. We lower that down to the ground, and now we can build a little pallet with some forks and things, and it'll lift everything. Okay, now look at this. Check this out. I think I have the perfect solution for how to make this look really good. I want it to look like the forks are coming through the box, but I still want the box to be entirely on the ground, so we're going to use these framed ones, and then at the end, we're going to connect little nubs to it, little framed nubs. I want these little guys, these frame slabbed corners to come through. And if we deck these out in maybe some sheet metal, I don't know if I like that block, we can change it after. But now, if I just take some of this stuff, these wickered oak planks to make it kind of look like a pallet that's stacked, and then we can throw some drawers on top of it maybe. Look at this, okay. And now, if we glue all of this together correctly, And like there, down to here, and then glue up the back to these guys. I think this should work. So look at that. It's like the forklift has a big pallet full of stuff. It's hiding it. It's hiding it. We hop in. We're gonna run the forklift. I can't get a good view on it, I guess, but we'll hit space. And that opens up our hole for us to go in. Oh, that is so good. That's so awesome. Here's how we can get a good view, actually. Pick up the controller. Lower it myself. That is so good. That's so awesome. Now, technically, this portion of it should lift with the forks as well, but there wasn't a nice way for me to make it replace each of these poles while still maintaining the poles without the poles and everything just lifting up entirely, and it ends up looking more stupid. So we're going to keep it as is. It's a little unrealistic, but like I said, it's not a real forklift anyways. I have one final task I'd like to do today, and it does involve our Rubik's Cube down here. Look at it. Look how great it is. Here's the problem with this Rubik's Cube. The problem with this Rubik's Cube is it currently doesn't have a use. It's really impractical. It's cool. It's very cool. Don't get me wrong. I love the mechanics of it. I love that it works. I love that it's solvable, but it is actually useless. It's just a toy for fun that's really impractical to use because of how long it takes. So I want to basically make this useful. And the way we're going to make it useful is we're going to have a mechanism to detect when the cube is solved. But that's what we're missing right now, and that's what we're going to work on right now because I think it's pretty easy to do. Basically, how do we know when the Rubik's Cube is solved? Well, we know when it's solved when each of the individual 6 sides contains only the same color. When all 6 sides at the same time contain the same colors. What we're going to need is we're going to need a redstone mechanism to check the blocks and detect when they're the right colors in the right spot. Luckily for us, our Rubik's Cube can't be physically rotated in the world space, so it's always going to be in the same direction when it's solved. White's always going to be on this side, blue's always going to be here, and orange is going to be here. We don't have to worry about it being rotated about the y-axis. That doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to break into our cube here, and we have to add more redstone links, I'm pretty sure. So this is going to get a little bit crazy. Lucky for us, we don't ever have to check the center cubes because those don't matter. They're always going to be the same. But we do have to check these individual edge pieces. And I think we can do it with a block straight from the Create mod. Endermen have been down here too. This right here is the Smart Observer. Now the Smart Observer from Create is a great block. It's basically an observer, so it's going to emit a redstone signal when it detects something. But that something can be defined by a filter. So you can put an inventory on it and put an item in the filter, and when it sees that item in it, it will emit a redstone signal. Or in our case, where it's really useful is, let's say we want it to emit a signal when there's an orange concrete block in front of it. Well, if we place orange concrete and we put orange in the filter, you're going to see it emits redstone. It's got a redstone signal coming out of it. I am noticing an issue that I may have to figure out is that it's emitting redstone from all the sides. That's not great, but can maybe be figured out. Essentially, the way we're going to use these, though, is we can use these on each of the tiles to detect if it's the right color. So if we're trying to check for yellow ones, we maybe put a yellow filter, and if there's an orange square in front of it, it won't go off. If there's a green square in front of it, it won't go off. But if the yellow square is in front of it, it will go off and emit from the back. So if we just have a big, complex grid of a bunch of these throughout the cube, it will check if it's solved, which is amazing, which is just kind of exactly what we want out of it. But the problem is there are, 8 times 6, like 48 different ones we have to check all at the same time. So we're going to need some AND gates. And if you're unfamiliar with how AND gates work, they're a pretty simple logic setup where basically we have 2 inputs. These are our levers. Each of them controls one of the inputs. And, no pun intended, with those 2 inputs, we control the state of one output. So if we run these 2 AND gates and then another torch here, and then do we have something that can light up? Maybe we'll use this Nixie tube. Now, the way it'll work is this Nixie tube will only ever change value if both of the levers are lit up. If input 1 and input 2 are lit up. Only then does it turn on. So that's what an AND gate does. It basically just detects all of the things that we have hooked up to it, and it will only turn on if all of those are on. So it's great. Now, how do we make one that's going to detect 54 or 48, whatever we need, 48 inputs? Well, this concept is actually pretty scalable in Minecraft. If I take maybe a line this long, let's say it's 9 long, and I hook redstone torches up to all of them, and I run a redstone line here, and I hook up 9 different inputs, and then we have one here with another torch, and then a Nixie tube on top of that, and we'll power this. Oh, I don't want it there. That's my bad. I want the Nixie tube here so we can see it. It's at 0 right now, and this is all running. If we pull every single lever, only then does it go up. So this is an AND gate with 9 different inputs, which is amazing. And I could actually make this for 48 inputs, and I just run into some redstone linking issues because of the length of redstone, but we can do that. So we can make a room with all of our AND gates. I'd probably make them banks of 8, I think, like this. Make them banks of 8, and then have rows for each color, and then connect all of them up. And then we can just basically hook a ton of our redstone links up to the front of them, and then each redstone link is going to check from its corresponding block. And just like that, we'll have a detector that when all of the AND gates are fired, when all 48 of them are detecting the correct input, only then is our Rubik's Cube solved. So let's try building something that works that way. And I'm not sure if the smart observers are going to work now, because I'm a little scared because of the fact that they emit power from all the sides. That could break some stuff because it's very compact in there. Okay, you know what? I think this observer strategy will still work, but we have to be careful about how we place them in that they're always like a full block away from one of these stickers because we don't want bud updates breaking things. So this should be okay because this will check both sides of the edge. I mean, this one won't. That's wrong, but you know, you get the idea. You get the idea. Like that. And then we detect for orange, and that works. And we detect for green, and that works. Okay, cool. And then the corners, we can do something similar. We can go like here. We can go, I guess, like here and then here. And that should detect orange, and then blue, and then yellow. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I can make this work. Awesome. I'm hoping and praying that everything is correctly set up in here. I have 8 different blocks for each one so that each color is conveying 8 different signals. I hope this is all right. Let's build our AND gates and try to solve it and see if it'll work. Okay, this is our fancy AND gate setup for now. Maybe I'll move it into another room, but I kind of like how visual it is. So it's got 8 banks for each of the colors. We'll set up the code, and then it should just work where if all of these are off, then this signal goes off, and same on the other side. If all of them are off, then this torch should turn on, and this Nixie tube should go above 0. I just have to set all of these up, and that's going to be so much fun because these are a pain to click the little hitbox. Okay, as we start filling in these with the correct codes, some should light up. That one lit up. That means our red one in that spot is in the correct corner. Awesome. Not all of these are expected to be correct because if all of them are correct, that means our cube's solved, which it is clearly not right now. Okay, looks like we got a good chunk of them that are correct, but a good chunk that are not correct, and for that reason, this should still be off. Now we can solve it and check if it'll work. I just hope this doesn't break, because if it breaks, then I've set back a lot of progress. I guess I'll make a world backup, just in case. So how do we solve what we currently have? It looks like it's only a few rotations away from complete. Okay, 2 moves left to make. And we'll see if it's finally working. A lot of the lights are lit up. It's very cool to see, so you can see which ones are out of place. You can almost use that as an estimate as to how complete the cube is, which is maybe kind of cool. But Now, what is it here? It's gonna be... Uh-oh. Is this corner missing? It just broke. It was working the whole time, and I just broke it somehow. We're just gonna rotate that back and hope it's still okay. Okay, up that way, and then... What's that? That's gonna be just a regular down. Okay. And it should turn on if this cube in the corner... if this in the corner wasn't completely missing. We will have to rebuild that and add it back, but it's looking like everything's working. We'll add that back, and does it show as solved? It lit up, which means the cube is solved. That is awesome. That's some good redstone today. Well, unfortunately, that's all I'm going to have time for, so thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for sticking with me while I got some stuff cleaned up around the Spellcorp Industrial Complex. Now with some of this stuff out of the way, we can move on to some cooler things. Thanks for watching. Love you. See you next time. Bye.